Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV. In this video, like the title suggests, we're going to look at how to clear Mass Carnival Stage 31, because as you probably know by now, it's required for the last quest added in patch 5.45 that rewards you with your item level 400 level 70 Blue Mage weapon. Before then, you don't have one. So let's get going, shall we? Let's start Mass Carnival Stage 31. There are 4 spells in particular that you will need for this fight as a mandatory standpoint. Flying Sardine is one of them for your interrupts on the boss, Exuviation to remove debuffs from your character, of which we need to remove 2, Diamondback to survive unsurvivable damage such as a meteor in Act 2, and Eerie Soundwave to dispel the boss. So here we are then, inside the actual Mass Carnival Stage 31. The first move that will be cast is Mimic. Do not cast anything, do not move, nothing. Basically, if you cast anything at the boss at this point, it will do very large damage, even lethal damage sometimes. So just don't press anything. Followed afterwards, you'll have a flamethrower attack. This is something you can't avoid and does quite a lot of damage. Next up will be Mimicked Sap. This places AoEs that you simply just kite around the room. Don't stop and use your single target damage abilities off globals, basically, that you can use without a cast bar on the move, or you could of course swift cast something if you want to get some extra DPS in. After this, you will see a Mimicked Imp Song with an interrupt bar. This is where you use your Flying Sardine to interrupt it. Otherwise, you'll be turned into an imp, which is not good. Basically, Flamethrower will happen again, and then you'll have a Mimicked Doom. This is something that you need to be fully healed before it actually goes off. If Doom is cast and it finishes casting with you less than 100% health, the Doom will go off and you will die. So heal yourself up before that's finished off. The boss doesn't do any damage before then, so it's easy as that. Then he'll cast Mimic again. This is basically just don't press anything, don't do anything, don't pass go, do not collect £200. And then basically once that's over, you can start attacking him. Next, he will do a Mimicked Bunshin. This summons a clone of himself, and basically it just does a cone attack. So we just walk around in circles and avoid the AoEs. Basically, after that, you'll have Mimicked Raw Instinct. This puts a critical strike buff on the actual boss. This is where we use Eerie Soundwave. This will dispel that off. If you don't, then he does, well, high damage with every ability, and you don't want that to be on him for too long. Basically, after that, you're just going to see a rinse and repeat of Mimic, followed by Flamethrower, Mimic Sap, Mimicked Imp Song, Mimic Doom Impending, another Mimic, a Raw Instinct which you can dispel, and then basically just a repeat of those. So you should have this first act down pretty quickly, and as much as it sounds quite complicated, you'll get used to it very quickly indeed. Okay, so as we approach Act 2, the first thing that you will see is Gogo Meteor 3. When this is cast, as soon as we actually pull this, you will see in just a few seconds when we pull that you need to be as far away from him as humanly possible. So I go to the other end of the room. Do not move, though, or attack or anything after the cast of that's gone out, as you will see Pyretic debuff on you. At this time, you'll see that he cast Blizzard on himself. If we didn't walk away before that, then we would have got hit. Then you will get basically Thunder 3 on the floor, which you just move out of. The Gogo Flare, which will be next, and then Gogo Holy are unavoidable and just do a lot of damage. They'll take you at most down to half health, depending on your item level, of course. You just need to White Wind through those. Apart from that, we're basically coming up onto the next mechanic now, where he will basically teleport to the center of a room, or jump there, and he'll do Gogo Meteor. This phase is pretty interesting because essentially there'll be a proximity marker, and it always starts from the side of a room on the east there. You'll always see that first one there. Apart from that, you're just avoiding as many of these AoEs as possible. You're going to keep yourself healed up because later you'll basically need to have a lot of health, so when we come out of Diamondback we don't die. Basically, as soon as the room turns this orange, as you've just seen, we cast Diamondback. And the reason is because this one's unavoidable, and if we didn't Diamondback there, as soon as we saw the entire room go orange, we would have died. As soon as this is out, you'll see that he's cast Charbides, which is 2 of those tornadoes, and he will cast Ice Storm. This is where we use Exuviation to remove a debuff. This puts Heavy and Frostbite on you, which is very annoying considering you're about to have an AoE placed on your head. So Exuviate as fast as possible. Then you'll see that you'll get 3 puddles to drop. The first of which will be around him, and then you get the first of the puddles. We drop these in between the tornadoes, just like this. We're trying to give ourselves a play area. So as you can see, I've dropped these as close together as possible, so that on this side of the room I can do stuff. You'll see he casts the Gogo Fire, which means we need to be away from him because his Blizzard will kill us otherwise, and we need to wait for that Pyretic to run out before we resume our DPS. As I'm speaking, this might seem a little bit difficult to follow, but I will let the footage go and I'll talk you through it a few times. There's the Flare attack that half healths you, and then we'll get the Holy again as well, which is another half health or thereabouts sort of damaging ability. Then we're basically going back to the first stage again of the fight. You'll see he's about 47% here because I've been keeping up my DPS. He's teleported to the middle and it resumes from Meteor. So once again, we're going to have to make sure that we have enough mana at this point. Don't go too ham. You'll see I'm not spamming abilities here. I could do extra damage, but I want to make sure I've got enough. I need 3,000 mana for that diamond back that I'll need once again. So I'm not going to burn myself out. I'm not going to play this too fast. We're not after a speed run, we just want to clear it here. So we're avoiding all of these AoEs as possible, trying to stay away from that AoE. And as soon as the room goes orange like this, we're pressing diamond back again as soon as it goes orange to survive that final meteor, otherwise we would die. In this stage he's just going to sort of like slap you a few times. He's going to cast that Charbides, the 2 tornadoes are coming out once again. We're going to White Wind just to fully heal. You'll see Ice Storm is being cast to slip in a bit of extra cheeky damage, and then we want to debuff this with Exuviation. You'll see there's the Heavy. It's random which one it debuffs, so you want to make sure that you're quick to move out of an AoE. Sometimes it's better to move out of an AoE first before cleansing, but don't leave it too long. And you just sort of want to place your puddles like I am. So you want to put them as close to the boss on that bit, but on a side. You don't want to put all these in the middle, otherwise it's going to be a pain to actually move around. As you can see, all the AoEs are far away from me. I've got Pyretic. I'm not going to press a button. And then as soon as Pyretic runs out, you'll see that because we're far away from the boss, he does his Blizzard. We're nowhere near him. It doesn't do any damage. And now we're just going to... This is the bit where we sink in as much DPS as possible. The Flare we know is going to like half health us. Don't worry about that. And then we're going to heal that up. Get as many bleeds or dots or anything on a target. A lot of people use Bad Breath. Some of us have the Tsukiyomi ability, which puts a minute-long bleed on the target. Yeah, but at the same time, make sure that when you go back to the Meteor phase, you will have enough mana left. You can see here I've only got 2,700 or so that I can actually heal myself with White Wind if I get too much damage from these meteors, and also enough for 3,000 mana for the cost of diamond back. Otherwise, all of our effort has been in vain. So we're just going to play this through. This is the act that is the most troublesome for people. The first act we just sort of blasted through, but this is where it sort of heats up a bit. So there's the orange room going orange again. We're diamond backing. You've got a bit of leeway on that, but don't mess around too much. Don't try and fit in too much DPS. You want to make sure you cast that. You don't want to die here. There come the 2 tornadoes with Charbides. We're going to White Wind ourselves up, and we've got just enough here to Exuviate from these 2 Ice Storm debuffs. So there's the first one. We're going to move from the AoE, and then we're going to start dropping these puddles. So the first one, admittedly, this is not a great place for the puddle. It needs to be closer to the boss there. And then we're going to drop this one here. Carefully, gingerly go through there. That was a very dangerous thing to do. Don't do that. Do as I say, not as I do in this case. And then we're going to have that Pyretic debuff when he casts that fire. So we're not going to cast anything now. Don't do anything. Do not pass go. Do not collect £200. As soon as that Pyretic runs off, we're going to go back. We're going to White Wind ourselves to full. And then we're going to use whatever abilities we have once again to land as much damage on there. Any dots. Windburn is great from Garuda's attack. The Flare and the Holy I could care less about. I know that they're going to half health me. That one was a little bit more than half because I was lower than max. But as you can see, we're burning it down. We're not passively doing this, but we're being patient. We're not trying to do a speed run, like I say. We're just trying to keep that DPS up and keeping our mana pool positive. You see, we're on 800 mana here. This is not a great place to be. I would advise slowing down a bit more and regenning, but since we're so close to a kill, I just decided to go balls to the wall and kill him during the meteor phase like that. And it's as simple as that. I mean, as simple as that. It took me maybe 5 attempts, something like that. I personally think this is a lot easier than Azor Magia, and a lot easier than some of the previous fights we've done. But there we go. Hopefully that was helpful. I tried to keep that in its entirety. I know in phase 1 we cut between, the repetition of the same mechanics, but really you wanted to see this second act, because that's where it gets interesting. Let me know what you think about this in particular. Have I missed anything? Is there anything that you would advise people to choose in particular as filler spells, other than just getting as many off globals, so whilst you're running around you do damage? Let me know below. I'm never 1000% right at anything. I'm always open to suggestions, and maybe there's a really good speedrun strat for this as well. But that's how you're going to get your weapon from this patch. Enjoy your Blue Mage content, and I'll see you all next time.